kuyabikwa angikhathali eyonto phela isuke inzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana She got the shama chana mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana She got the shama chana mani Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana She got the shama chana mani Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana She got the shama chana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana She got the shama chana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Yeah. Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Yeah. Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
khona kuyabikwa angikhathali eyo nto phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha majarma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha majarma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha majarma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha majarma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha majarma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
ungakhali eyonto phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo melela benza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana She got the shama jarma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana She got the shama jarma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana She got the shama jarma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana She got the shama jarma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana She got the shama jarma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
ungadlali eyonto phela isuyinzima hard work I am ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo kumele ngabenza njalo I hold myself impumelelo sesiseduze nayo
Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shilo ini makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Shigepisha macharma Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana Yes makanana
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
phela isuyinzima. Hard work I am. Ngivuke ekuseni ngenza uhlelo, kumele benza njalo. I hold myself impumelelo. Sesiseduze nayo.
Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. She got the shama jarma. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. Shilo ini makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. She got the shama jarma. Yes, makanana. Yes, makanana. Yes.
Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. Chipape. Oh no, I'm already getting on my guest. Already on my guest. Zamajobe, Taxi Ride is the name of the track, and that is how we enter Friday today. Hope you are having a great day. The weather is beautiful outside. It's lovely and sunny and hot. Hopefully it maintains like that for the weekend. I know people have plans. Of course, some of our team are off to Franschhoek for that Montreal Jazz Festival, and they're hoping that the weather there in Cape Town behaves, and some of our sister station is having their family day, and they too hoping for good weather. So let's hope that the weather stays as is. Are you good? I'm praying that you're good. We've got a jam-packed show today. We're going to be catching up with Chipape Makato, who is the curator of an exhibition entitled For Some, The Pathway to Education Lies Between Thorns. We'll unpack that and find out the body of work that seeks to unpack that particular one. We'll also be going behind the scenes of sound and how Foley brings film to life. We're going to be talking to one of the lecturers at the Academy of Sound Engineering. Then from a lifestyle perspective, we're looking at a concept called the Harvest Table, and they're in Joburg this weekend. So we'll find out more from the founders around that. And as per usual, because it's Friday, we have Usiwela Langeni coming through with the book circle. She's going to bring us the latest titles to add to our 2026 reading list. We are live on WhatsApp. 061-410-4107 is our WhatsApp line, and 086-000-2032 is the number that you can call us on. Or alternatively, you can find us on social media. Wherever you are, we are. Hashtag SAFM Radio, hashtag Bridget Masinga. Let's take a quick pause. We'll be right back.
Investing shouldn't feel risky. It should give you security and good returns. Earn up to 7.25% interest per annum with an ABSA Cash Invest Tracker for an investment of 100,000 rands or more. Your capital is guaranteed with immediate access to your funds. That's minimum risk, maximum benefit. ABSA Private Banking customers can invest from just R1. Open via the ABSA Banking app, a branch, a private banker, or 0860 111 515. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
This Human Rights Month, we commemorate a significant milestone, the Bill of Rights at 30, making human dignity real. For 3 decades, South Africa's constitution has been a beacon of equality, freedom and justice for all. Yet dignity is not just written in our constitution, it must be lived, protected and upheld every single day. Join SAFM as we unpack the issues that matter, elevate voices driving change, and reflect on the progress we've made while confronting the work that still lies ahead. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Endlek, Let's Connect is coming to you from the Montreal Jazz Festival in Franschhoek. For the first time, this iconic festival takes place on African soil, and you can join Penny Libiani and Fran Rico for exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and, of course, the festival experience. Watch on Friday, the 27th of March. That's this Friday at 4:30 p.m. on SABC2. Endlek, Let's Connect and be a part of the moment. SABC2, you belong.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right, it's gone 3:15, and we've got a lot on the agenda today. It is a Friday, and you know, on Fridays we tend to skew ourselves more towards arts and culture and take things at a wonderful pace. And so we are going to be talking about a whole host of things. We're going to be looking at a new exhibition. For some, the pathway to education lies between thorns. We're also going to go behind the scenes of sound and how Foley brings film to life. And then we're all going to be catching up with the 2025 Bold Woman Award winners that have been announced. A quick break, and then we come back on the other side.
As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Polani Gwala will be back again for you 6 to 9 Monday here on SAFM.
And
thanks, Polani. Good morning and welcome to Morning Talk with me, Kim Gabadeli.
The name is Bonge Kwala. Good to be with you till midday today. Let's engage South Africa.
Welcome to Morning Talk on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader, with me, Rowena Bird.
90 years of trusted voices. This is SAFM. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, we are looking at behind the scenes of sound and how Foley brings film to life. Sean Radford joins us now, lecturer at Academy of Sound Engineering. In the wake of this year's South African Film and Television Awards, where storytelling excellence has taken center stage, it's worth asking what truly brings a scene to life, beyond the performance and the visuals, of course. There are some crafts that are rarely seen but often felt, and one of those is the world of sound design. How are you doing this afternoon?
Bridget, I'm very well, thanks, and yourself?
I'm great, thank you so much. Firstly, maybe let's talk about the Academy of Sound Engineering. It's right here by our doorsteps outside SABC. And we've got quite a cool skills exchange partnership that happens between the two entities. Give us some context.
Yeah, well, yes, as you said, we work very closely with SABC in terms of making use of their wonderful facilities. We have multiple internships for students to gain work through SABC and through external projects as well. A large focus on audio production, a large focus on music production, live sound, broadcasting, the business and the law of music as well. And myself being with SABC, being with ASE now for nearly 6 months, it's incredibly collaborative and incredibly enriching for the students and the staff. That's such a collaborative effort for the sake of audio and just production in general.
Right. So the question that, and my engineer here just asked me, like, what is Foley? And I looked at him bewildered, and I'm like, well, I don't know. This is why we're having this conversation. Maybe let's understand that, because you pose that as the question of the day, to say behind the scenes of sound, how Foley brings film to life. So what is that? What are we talking about?
It's a lovely question. Well, Foley generally encompasses the sound that we feel within a production. If we want to get quite specific with the definition of Foley, it's all sounds that are related to human movement. So you could imagine any sound where a human being would require an interaction with an object or a space. That's what Foley would detail. So your footsteps and if someone opens a door handle, the sound of that, the sound of clothing. It's quite prevalent in something like a fight scene, for example, where we would be doing the punches and we would be doing the impacts, fall impacts as well. That's a big part of Foley. But broadly speaking, it's any sound that a human being creates with interaction with whatever object you can imagine.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So it is different to, having been on sets and you'll do your scene, you'll do your thing as an actress, and then sound will call for silence as they run buzz.
Yes. So it's quite interesting with Foley. Whatever is captured on set, the highest priority is generally dialogue. And ambience, so like your room tones and your surrounding ambient tones. Any Foley that's picked up in those on-set recordings is 9 times out of 10, in fact 10 times out of 10, redone in post-production or recreated and enhanced in post-production. So the Foley we get on set is usually for reference, and then it happens quite often that a director or producer will require or desire a different interpretation of that sound for the sake of the narrative. So generally Foley isn't captured on set. If we take a few well takes on set just for reference, that's pretty much where the on-set recording usability for Foley recording ends. Most of it happens in post.
I see. So, I mean, this is, something that, as you say, when you're on set, for instance, if we had to paint the scene for our listeners, on film sets, television sets, when you're on set, the primary focus, as you've said, and I concur, is always literally the dialogue. That is the primary focus. But these Foley sounds that you speak of are the things that actually add the dimension and the texture and the layering to bring what could have been a flat one-dimensional exchange and interaction and make it sound more realistic. Set it up more realistically.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you use the word realism, because 9 times out of 10, Foley doesn't really aim for realism. We aim for the interpretation of realism, or the narrative interpretation of that realism. So it's always quite interesting that well done Foley provides the guise of realism and essentially the world building. It makes that world believable. But what actually goes into a Foley recording session or a project is 9 times out of 10 sounds that aren't directly related to what we are seeing on screen. So it's always a fun thought experiment to just think about Foley as non-real or non-applicable sounds that actually build the world and make it real for the audience.
Now, let's look at, for instance, sound engineering jobs, right? Let's look at a film credit. And I know a lot of people just skip through the credits when they go up, but there's a whole sound engineering department that gets credited. And I can imagine then that it's not a 1 or 2 person that's handling all the different dimensions that are required on a film to bring the collective sound to life. There then must be specialist focus for different areas of that.
Yes. No, well, it depends on the production. It depends on the budget for the sound departments. So I've been privy to a few productions where, yes, most of the work is done by one person. At the very least, one or a few people on set, and maybe 1 or 2 people in post-production that are handling all of those various roles. But when productions start getting bigger, that's when teams obviously start getting bigger as well. So there would be people that work in all 4 departments of film sound, being or in terms of post being dialogue, editing, and mixing. That could be 2 different people as well. For the Foley, it would be at least 1 assistant, 1 Foley artist, perhaps even more than 1 assistant. You would have a sound effects a sound designer as well that could potentially handle editing and mixing of those sound effects. Then you also have a music editor. And obviously music composition would also fall under sound design. It is actually classified as a voice of sound too. So yes, the teams can get quite extensive, but it's not a given. Quite a few productions have quite small sound teams where 1 to 3, maybe 4 people would take on multiple roles and be credited for those roles. And the larger position in a sound department would also then be the supervising sound editor, who is basically everyone's boss, to put it simply. But yeah, it varies from production to production. And I'm not even speaking about the on-set team, your various swingers and, audio capturing engineers that handle or achieve clean capture on set as well.
I think this conversation lends itself to the many conversations we have around the creative industries, right? And the ability on a set, be it film or television, to hire upwards of 60, 80, 100 plus people, depending on the magnitude, the budget of what is required. And just honing in on the sound department alone, because it's something that we never really focus on. You start realizing that within just a moderately sized project, there could be a handful of career and job opportunities there for folks. And let's talk a little bit about that, because that's always the thing that particularly parents are trying to understand when they have these conversations with their creative children. Is what are the pathways to career sustainability and career success do you have in this field, and the ability for you to pivot if maybe you find yourself in a position where you've reached the glass ceiling, but you still want to be within this particular sector or this particular discipline?
Well, as in most vocations, variety is the spice of life. All sound practitioners that I have at least had interaction with, very, very few of them have the opportunity to specialize into one particular small aspect of that field. So gaining competency in multiple disciplines regarding sound, whether it's on set or recording in studio, or editing or mixing in post, this will all help in terms of accessing a pipeline for younger people to enter into the industry. A willingness to work, I've never worked on a film that wasn't difficult hours. So it's not a 9-to-5 job. I'll say that your hours have to be very flexible. But the opportunities are there. As I said, there's multiple production houses just in Gauteng, never mind the country, ranging from small to medium to large, and the budgets range that way as well. Multiple internship programs that are available for production houses, scaffolding from institutions like Academy of Sound Engineering to set students up with connections into the industry so that they can get a foot into the door and start working with some recognized industry practitioners. But as with many things, it's about being in the right place at the right time with the right skills and the right mindset.
Absolutely.
And the right attitude.
Oh, absolutely. And attitude sometimes takes you even further than any talent ever could. Sean Radford, thank you so much for the time. Lecturer at the Academy of Sound Engineering. And as they say, that the paradox of perhaps being a Foley assistant is that the better you are at the job, the less you are noticed at what you do. 1:30, time for us to get into the headline news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the Eastern Cape ANC elective conference has been suspended pending the finalization of disputes linked to the conference. The Hawk says it has been granted a preservation order worth 100,000 rand by the High Court in Johannesburg relating to the Tembisa Hospital fraud case. And Johannesburg's executive mayor, Dada Morero, says the DA's court challenge against the seat of Johannesburg's multi-billion rand wage deal with municipal workers union will not succeed. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Leading the conversation. This Human Rights Month, we commemorate a significant milestone, the Bill of Rights at 30, making human dignity real. For 3 decades, South Africa's constitution has been a beacon of equality, freedom and justice for all. Yet dignity is not just written in our constitution, it must be lived, protected and upheld every single day. Join SAFM as we unpack the issues that matter, elevate voices driving change and reflect on the progress we've made while confronting the work that still lies ahead. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you commission live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. For 90 years, one voice has informed, challenged, and connected a nation. SAFM, South Africa's national English public radio station. Established in 1936 as the SABC's very first service, the A program, evolving through the English service, Radio South Africa, to SAFM in 1995, shaping thought and strengthening democracy. From a full-spectrum station to a trusted home of news and talk, SAFM continues to lead the conversations 90 years strong. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
You know why I love doing this show and being on the station? Because now here we are, Patrick, my engineer, and I having a whole conversation around sound engineering. And then he's telling me about some of the incredible dramas that he's produced for SAFM over the years and having to go find Foley sound to bring them to life. Now I'm really intrigued to go and listen to some of them from years gone by. Chipape Mkhatu joins us now, curator of the exhibition For Some, The Pathway to Education Lies Between Thorns. How are you doing, Kehla?
Well, thank you so much, Bridget, and how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, for those who don't know, Kehla Chipape Mkhatu is a South African contemporary artist, is a curator, is an arts writer, as well as an educator. And he's a painter and a printmaker and also dabbles in some mixed medium. Let's talk about this particular exhibition, which is presented at the UNISA Art Gallery. For Some, The Pathway to Education Lies Between Thorns. Firstly, let's unpack what seems to be quite the weighted title.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. The title of the exhibition is drawn from a piece of lino-cut color reduction that Peter E. Clark made in 2008, but the piece was conceived somewhere in 1962 when he visited one of the countryside and he witnessed children going to school barefooted and having to walk long distance to that school. So you can imagine how much that stayed with him for such a long time until he sort of created the piece. So that's the title of the piece, the title of the exhibition is drawn from that powerful lino cut color reduction, which the subject matter and the topic that he deals with or he dealt with in that particular piece is still very much relevant. And I think access to education for our children, especially in the rural villages, is still the journey or the pathway to education still lies between phones for them.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's quite literal as well as the symbolic, metaphoric representation of a lived experience. All these years into democracy, over 30 years into democracy, as you say, very much a reality for a majority of South African children.
Absolutely, because when I looked at the piece, that's why I chose the title, I could see myself back in the late 1990s when we had to walk long distance to school. But there's a child who has boots on his head as they walk. That's us. That's some of us where we did not have school bags. And sometimes you would carry your books with plastic, and as you run to school when you are maybe late, the books will fall out of that plastic because it shall have broken. And that piece really captures that. And I think it's a very good opportunity for this exhibition to have traveled to UNISA, highest institution of higher learning on the land, and to bring this kind of complexities and challenges to people who potentially work on those kind of challenges in terms of studying and researching about them further.
And the exhibition first presented around 2 years ago at William Humphrey's Art Gallery, where, of course, it marked your first curatorial project as the chief curator there at WAG in 2023. And it's traveled a little bit since then. What has been, I guess, some of the interaction to the work where it's had the pleasure of setting footprint?
I mean, interesting thing is that when it traveled to Springside Gallery in Ekurhuleni municipality, we had a large number of young people who interacted with the exhibition, and they could resonate with it because Peter Clark in his work deals with everyday life issues. But what also was very interesting was that most young people thought Peter E. Clark was a white artist because of the name. So it sparks this kind of interesting conversations. And I think also for them to also realize the kind of role that Peter Clark played in the art sector, because remember, he was not only an artist or master wood color reduction and lino cut cover, but he was also a poet. He also illustrated for books, and his work cut across mediums. He didn't only do printmaking, also did painting, drawing, and later in his life, before he died, he created an interesting series of work called Funfair, which was more about collages, simple, sort of easy way of putting together stories on paper.
And an interesting sort of story and an interesting life that very little is known about outside of the sort of artistic academia circles.
Yes, and that's why this exhibition is sort of traveling, and we hope that it will travel across the country to really bring attention to the people about who he was, because he was not only what I just spoke about, he was also a mentor. He mentored many of us younger artists, and he always emphasized the importance of education. I mean, for example, if he called me and we had a conversation before he hung up, he would say, Chipapi, remember to read. So he was a very important artist in our country, and the role he played in shaping the new generation of artists attests to his really his passion about education, even though when he was growing up during apartheid, he was denied access to art education in a tertiary education setting or setup. But he still encouraged younger people like myself to go to school. And I remember when I wrote a review about his exhibition back in 2011 at the Standard Bank Art Gallery, and I sent him that review. He replied with a long letter that is part of the exhibition, and he was so impressed that an artist could actually write about art exhibition. And he said to me, you know, Chipapa, this is what we need. We need artists to start engaging in scholarly work around our practice. And I think it is important to highlight the fact that the exhibition, while it is at the UNISA Art Gallery, it comprises of William Humphrey's Art Gallery collection and the collection of UNISA Art Gallery. So it's a tapestry of incredible body of work that spans many years. I mean, the oldest work there is he made it in 1957, and the latest or the most recent work was created in 2013, a year before he passed away, in 2014.
So when we date back the work, Kesha, that work from 1957, I'm to assume that it's work from his very first solo exhibition that was hosted at the Golden City Post.
Yes, it would probably come from that series of work that was exhibited then, but also it tries to tell you the journey and the longevity of his career in the arts. And to have those works in one room, it's a very good thing to really chart the journey that he traveled, especially to young artists, to realize how committed he was and maybe take a leaf of inspiration from that body of work and the exhibition itself.
Absolutely. Born in Simonstown in 1925 and went on to pursue his career in the arts. And I think it was 2005, if I'm not mistaken, that he was awarded the Order of Ingamanga by then President Thabo Mbeki, and it was followed then by a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2010. So he got his flowers before his passing, but of course it remains very much a pertinent story to tell, especially stories of black artists who created at a time when perhaps it was not fashionable or even permissible for them to do such.
Yes, fortunately he received his flowers while he was still alive. And I remember visiting him in December 2013, and it was at the time of the passing of former President Nelson Mandela. And I said, how would you like to be remembered for, and how would you like to be remembered? He said he cautioned against having a statue being erected in his honor. He joked that all the birds of the world will find a way to do droppings on that. But he said he would rather be remembered by maybe naming a community art center or a library after him, of which the Cape Town Art Center here in Cape Town did that. They named the center after him, and it's a center that he really contributed so much. He worked with them very closely, and I think wherever he is, he's very happy to see that they didn't erect a statue in his honor, but a library and art center. That was his wish when we last spoke, when I visited him in Ocean View.
Lovely.
Back in 2013. So this exhibition is very significant, and also it just shows that we continue to remember him, even though he got his flowers while he was still alive. And to have Order of Ikamanga as a practicing artist in South Africa is a huge honor. It's the highest honor.
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely going to try and mission my way to the Yonisa Art Gallery. Perhaps this weekend might be a good date to catch that show before it wraps up on the 9th of April. Kehla Chipapa Makhato, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. And he is behind the curation of the exhibition. For some, the pathway to education lies between thorns. And it's one that's done in collaboration with the Yonisa Art Gallery as well as the William Humphreys Art Gallery, bringing back to life works by artist, writer and poet Peter E. Clarke. It's on at the Yonisa Art Gallery until the 9th of April. Something to do during the Easter holidays, and whilst you have some time with the kids, please bring the kids to the art galleries. It's so important with the kids as well as the family. 1:45, a quick pause and we'll be right back.
For Olwethu Nxumalo of Ozide Rentals and Custom Dressmaking, every stitch is a story. What's your Telkom business chapter?
What made Telkom business stand out from all the rest was how fast everything was.
And with voice calling and fiber from Telkom Business, she stitches together inquiries and sources fabric online without dropping a thread.
Get unlimited VoIP 1 from 99 Rand per month and Stream Connect Fiber from 399 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telkom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Saturday afternoons in Mzansi, where loyalty is tested every single week. Manchester United fans still believing. Liverpool fans reminding you about history. Chelsea fans saying trust the process. City fans pretending this is all normal. Arsenal fans still shouting out, we are winning it this year. Every year, mate. But that's love. Through the wins, the heartbreak, the long rebuilds. The English Premier League, where we suffer together, celebrate together, and never stop believing. EPL, Saturdays at 4:30 p.m. on S3. Open up. S3.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365, Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za. Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, so this Saturday, 29th of March at 44 Stanley, just down the road, they will be hosting the Harvest Table, which is a dining experience by a collective of food enthusiasts, stylists, and experienced designers that are all committed to conscious beauty and cultural depth. Why am I explaining it? They are in the studio, Ulusanda Mgoduka and Nolundi Walaza Kunene, who are the co-founders of the Harvest Table. Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you for coming.
Good afternoon, Bridget.
One is a self-proclaimed 1K. So we're just going to go with it. If you follow her on Instagram, she is live. Ulusanda is live at the moment. I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk. And I believe this, and I'm glad that you believe this. And I think a few, maybe a reasonable amount of people believe this, that food is an art. It is a culinary art. It's not just something we do to sustain ourselves. For you guys, when did you start sort of I'm going to use the word buying into that concept or being conscious of the concept that food is an art form.
Yeah, I think Lusan and I both like big travelers, and we've spent a lot of time, obviously, as friends, also enjoying just the culinary space, restaurants, and so on. But I think for us now, what we wanted to push towards is bringing people together in a space that we can present this food as an art. There's a lot of storytelling behind South African food that is probably untold. That we can start talking about, start thinking consciously about food. What we eat, where do we get the food we eat, who makes the food we eat, and so there's also a conscious moment here that as South Africans we need to start thinking about.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of that consciousness, right? Because a lot of COVID was so good for the food industry. There's so many foodies that were born out of COVID, which was lovely. But there was also that sentiment around, the farm to table, conscious eating, and all of that. I kind of feel like it's something maybe as Africans already innately was in us, and maybe we just forgot with this generation of 2Ks and 1Ks.
I think also one of the biggest things that we did want to do is bring these culinary experiences to everyone with the different chefs that we bring in. So the chefs that we featured are very conscious of the type of food that they serve, and somehow or you wouldn't necessarily have access to them in the way that everyone has access to them, and that's what we really want to bring, like chefs that are so conscious of the food that they make, but also just what they are putting in the food, like Nolundi said. So we just have the opportunity to do that with these tables and do it in a unique way. So each table is different, and each table is just bringing in what that chef is about, and the location speaks to that, the decor speaks to that, and the food speaks to that.
How do you go about the curation of the event? I mean, the one that's coming up this Saturday. Where does the genesis begin? Paint us a picture. Are we in the kitchen and we're going, it's cabbage season, let's focus on cabbage?
No. So it's always a blank canvas for us, and that this is
which is
the
scary.
Art. Yeah, this is where the art comes in. But I think it gives us an opportunity as well to really think, as you were saying, about food being an art form, right? So that blank canvas, we sit, and the three of us, so it's Lusana, myself, and Ino Kunene, and we just really think about what it is that
the story we're trying to tell.
The story is about at this time. And
it depends on the chefs as well. So, for example, our first table was actually with Onezwa. Not our first table, but her first table was with us. And she is a chef or also an influencer that lives by the ocean. So it was important for us to have a venue over the ocean, like overlooking the ocean in its splendor, and that's what we did for her. And when we were coming back to Joburg, we didn't want to do like a farm style aesthetic. We wanted to be in the city. So our table was in an art gallery by the Mukeli brothers, and their art gallery sits over Johannesburg, and you can see the Mandela Bridge, and we're in the city. So we knew that that's the story that we wanted to tell. Wanted to tell a story about Joburg, and not a farm in Joburg.
You don't take away the city from what we are doing. So everything, the story becomes why the city, why Braamfontein again, why 44 Stand is an institution in Johannesburg. So we never take away the city from what we're doing. So it's very important that the city becomes our backdrop as well.
And then we piece it together from there.
Yeah, then we build.
I love it. In film, there is they call it the fourth character. That thing when you watch a movie from New York, and New York is part of the character. Paris and London are part of the characters.
Yes.
So that's what you're doing with this, where the cities or the locations that are relevant to the chefs become part and parcel of the character.
Absolutely.
So you're taking us to 44 Stanley. We were there. We were having a team powwow for the new year yesterday, and it's amazing how 44 has evolved over the years. If you saw 44 starting like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it's become a completely different space, but it still kept the essence of what it is.
And it's quintessentially Johannesburg.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You can't take away. So that's
definitely 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
the shade of the 1K.
Yeah, so the concrete, everything speaks to again, to telling that story.
And also the story of, for this specific table, Nolondi was very like, we need to feel romance. So this table will be very romantic. It's very Joburg romance. It's very nostalgic, and that's what we build on. So we're in 44 Stanley, and we're gonna be very, very romantic. This time around.
Yeah, so you think the use of frills, the use of in our tables, if you think
velvet.
of going home and how our sofas had those frills, on the ends, that's what we're bringing back, that nostalgia. And also, I think, as Black people, like, there's nothing frivolous about wanting to have a good time and wanting to be happy.
And look
we
good.
also deserve it and look good, right?
Yeah.
So, again, it's that moment, bringing back that moment and saying that we also deserve to be good people who are in love and enjoy. And it's very important
Over
story
food.
as well.
Over food, absolutely.
Over food.
And in fact, that's just who we are as Black people.
Absolutely.
We congregate. I call it the art of living, and our art of living congregates over food for all of our occasions.
Absolutely.
We laugh over
Food and
food, we
song.
cry over food. Food and song, they go hand in hand for us. Absolutely.
Yeah, I must tell you a story. Unoni, who was one who did the harvest table with us from Black Olive Owl House.
Yeah.
So one of the things that she did was she put one of our pellet cleansers in yip. As reminiscent of that moment where you are at a wedding and umalume I say, and then like to bring back those stories. And also, what do we tell our children about food? I mean, it's like there's so much there. That's what I'm saying. It's the joy, the love, but also the very important teaching moment. Also who. Like when you think about ownership, how much of ourselves is in the food chain and owning the food chain.
Yeah.
That we're not just consumers, but we really are people who can participate actively and economically in the food chain.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, it touches all the points indeed. And I think it's a wonderful concept, and because it's grounded in something that's experiential, yes, but it's beyond just the Instagram aesthetic. It goes to the rooting of our Blackness, a sort of interrogation of who we are and who we might have been had we not been interrupted, or who we strive to be after all of those interruptions. So it's wonderful. For anybody that wants to follow you guys in our last 2 minutes, I know that you're on social, of course you're on social media. Where do folks go? Because you're moving around all over, so they want to make sure they catch you at the next one.
I want to go everywhere on the continent. Yes.
Yeah.
No, we
Our
are
food
though.
Stories, it's very important. I think, there's a very important storytelling element, but there's also like a remembering of history and how do we bring it forward to this moment. So there's a lot of things around food that we really are trying to bring out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe
Instagram handle.
Media?
A Harvest Table on Instagram, and I'm Lusanda. I am on Instagram, and
Nolundi's like, it's my private Instagram, please.
I am Nolundi on Instagram.
I am Nolundi on Instagram.
I am Nolundi.
But follow us. I mean, we're hoping that to cover the length and breadth of this country, beautiful country. I think about often how we may be sitting in the Karoo somewhere. I think about sitting in the vastness of the Northern Cape. Sitting just in that silence, and what do we bring the food. So it's everywhere, and we will do it. So
we'll do it.
Sit tight. The rest of South Africa, we are coming.
No, listen, the rest of South Africa and to the rest of the continent, indeed. Absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much for the time this afternoon. That was Ulusanda Nolundi. And of course, you can follow them on social media. The Harvest Table, they're going to be at 44 Stanley. There's someone who's going to ask me, do they still have a ticket? No, they sold out.
Sorry.
They sold out for this one.
Just keep your eye on that page.
On that social.
And we are coming to a city near you.
Don't gate crash them because Stanley. Let's take a quick one, and then Ondela's coming through with the top of the hour news.
Hi, my name is Kutlwana Masote, your host of Weekend Sundowner Classics every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. exclusively on SAFM. Now, this is where you get your best classical music jams on any radio platform. Join me every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between 4 and 7 p.m. Weekend Sundowner Classics.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 105.1 FM in Johannesburg.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, Eastern Cape ANC elective conference on hold until further notice, and Morero reacts to DA's challenge against City of Joburg wage deal. For SAFM News, I am Onde Lambana, and a very good day. The Eastern Cape ANC elective conference has been suspended pending the finalisation of disputes linked to the conference. The East London High Court interdicted the conference after an application was brought by disgruntled party members regarding the convening of some branch general meetings. The ANC has since been granted a leave to uphold the interdict, and the matter is expected to be heard this afternoon. ANC NEC member deployed in the Eastern Cape, Mamuloko Kubai, says they have made the decision to put the conference on hold until further notice.
And the legal teams are therefore preparing and communicating amongst themselves, between ourselves as the organization and the litigants, so that the matter can be heard. The second issue that we want to communicate is that we have received a communication after we've been in engagement with national and all the structures, and we had to convene a PEC to inform them that HQ Secretary General has decided that he will put the conference in abeyance until matters before the courts are concluded and all issues that needs to be concluded are concluded.
The ANC in Limpopo has welcomed the Bulugwane High Court ruling against an urgent application to interdict the provincial elective conference. The court has dismissed the application and struck the matter off the roll due to lack of urgency. Judge Mashudu Chiwase has also ruled that the applicant, Basil Mabasa, did not exhaust all internal party dispute resolution procedures. Judge Chiwase's ruling paves the way for the conference to go ahead. ANC Secretary Ruben Amadadze says their doors are open if their members have unresolved disputes.
As the PEC of Limpopo, we are very much happy and delighted about the judgment, and we also want to appeal to our members that they also need to give their structure an opportunity to lead and to go to its conference. And if there are issues that these comrades wants to raise with us, our doors are still open. We will listen to them. We don't think we need just to kick them. We have got the responsibility as the leadership of the province to go closer to them and listen to them and attend to the matters that they've raised.
The Hawks says it has been granted a preservation order worth 100,000 rand by the High Court in Johannesburg relating to the Tembisa Hospital fraud case. The Hawks say the money was allegedly offered as a bribe to an investigator in November last year to make the case disappear. The police seized the money during a sting operation. Hawks spokesperson Katlago Mogale says it will be forfeited to the state.
The former police officer was accompanied by a Tembisa hospital official at the meet. The duo offered the investigator an amount of 100,000 rands to make the case disappear. The pair was subsequently arrested and the money was confiscated. The asset forfeiture investigator worked tirelessly on the matter to ensure that monies are eventually forfeited to the state.
Johannesburg's executive mayor, Dada Morero, says the DA's court challenge against the City of Johannesburg's multi-billion rand wage deal with Municipal Workers Union will not succeed. He says the matter dates back to 2015 and has previously been partly honoured, including when the DA was in power. Morero says the council and the mayoral committee lawfully approved the agreement after a mediation process. He says the DA is wasting the court's time and that the city is committed to resolving the long-standing issue once and for all.
We are addressing it. We took resolutions. Council approved that we should be paying this and all workers should be at level 10. So Council made an approval. Council also approved and the mayoral committee approved that we should go through a process of mediation, which we went through, and these are the results of the mediation process. So there's no any other thing that has to be discussed, and the DA is just wasting the court's time by taking matters of this nature to the court.
The Pentagon has declined to comment on media reports that it's considering sending up to 10,000 additional troops to the Middle East. It would mark a significant boost to the U.S. military presence in the region. The BBC's Sebastian Asher has the details.
President Trump continues to keep all options open and therefore both Iran and the wider world guessing at his intentions. The report in the Wall Street Journal that 10,000 more troops could be sent to the region is an indication that further military escalation is still on the cards, although the number of US forces is still nowhere near what a full ground offensive would need. On the diplomatic front, the German foreign minister has given further confirmation that indirect negotiations between the US and Iran have taken place. Israel says it's dealt a significant blow to the Iranian Navy's ability to produce missiles and mines by targeting its facility in Yazd.
Recapping the top story, the Eastern Cape ANC elective conference has been suspended pending the finalization of disputes linked to the conference. Amandula Bonafide, SAFM News headlines at 2:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, leading the conversation.
For Olwethu Nxumalo of Ozide Rentals and Custom Dressmaking, every stitch is a story. What's your Telkom business chapter?
What made Telkom Business stand out from all the rest was how fast everything was.
And with voice calling and fiber from Telkom Business, she stitches together inquiries and sources fabric online without dropping a thread.
Get unlimited VoIP 1 from 99 Rand per month and Stream Connect Fiber from 399 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telkom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Oh, I'm so tired.
There's nothing on the TV.
Fanas, girls, let's take a break. We are going to A1 Lake.
Take a break with us. Get your One Day Cup domestic cricket 50 over game ticket at www.cricket.co.za. Wazana win. It's family time.
Entlek, Let's Connect is coming to you from the Montreal Jazz Festival in Franschhoek. For the first time, this iconic festival is taking place on African soil, and you can join Penny Libiani and Fran Rico for exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and, of course, the festival experience. Watch on Friday, that's this Friday, the 27th of March at 4:30 p.m. on SABC2. Entlek, Let's Connect, be a part of the moment. SABC2, you belong.
Top Sport on SAFM.
And we're focusing today on Lakeside Primary School. That is just talking about their program overall. And joining us on the line for today is Cheslin van Stade, sports coordinator and educator at Lakeside Primary School.
Yes, sir. So at Lakeside, we focus strongly on both participation and performance, but we do offer a variety of sports such as soccer, rugby, netball, cross-country, athletics. In term one, as primary schools, we mainly focus on athletics, track and field. And in term two, we move to winter sports such as soccer, to rugby and netball. In term three, we focus on cross country.
Top Sport on SAFM.
This Consumer Rights Month, ICASA has you covered. We regulate telecoms, broadcasting and postal services. Billing issues, poor network and lost parcels will contact your provider. If unresolved after 14 working days, email consumer@icasa.org.za. ICASA, regulating in the public interest.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
It makes a circle.
music in the air. It makes us sorrow go. Let the music take you there. Far from the world you know. I can feel it when I sing. Then I'll know love. There's a joy in everything. We're made for love. Look for love in the music. Lost in the melody, you'll find love. Look for love in the music. Lost in the melody, you'll find love. Look for love in the music. Lost in the melody, you'll find love. Look for love in the music. Lost in the melody, you'll find love.
There's music in the air, a beautiful South African classic by Mamlet Mbulo, this time reimagined by Amifaku. Black Coffee, they're on production, presumably, and Gallo Music remix. You're probably wondering how Gallo factors into this whole situation, right? Remember, if we rewind back to 2020, where Black Coffee acquired a significant stake in Gallo Music investment, and this partnership is set to revolutionize local music, how the industry works, offering artists equitable stakes, and of course also digitizing the very extensive catalog that Gallo holds and expanding African music globally. Now, if you want to know the extent of Gallo's catalog, just basically think of any South African musician that came out in the last 100 years. They're celebrating 100 years this year. In the last 100 years, particularly so, in the yesteryear decades, and they were most likely signed to Gallo Music. That is how extensive their catalog of music is. So it's a wonderful acquisition for Black Coffee through his company Flight Mode Digital, putting him and cementing him as one of the most successful multi-millionaire music businessmen in the world, probably at this point. So that was that offering featuring Amifaku on that one. It's approaching 2:15. We are going to be catching up with Usiwela Langeni now, co-founder of Book Circle Capital and author of Making Friends with Feelings. And we're looking at the latest book titles for this week. And this week, Siwela, how are you?
Thanks, and you, Bridget?
I'm good. I'm so great. So this week, you are focusing on children's titles. Yay!
Yes. Yes. I mean, I know for most four-term schools, children are closing today.
Yes.
So I just thought, why not do children's books to get them excited? And even though they're on a break, but still find time to read for fun. So share some of the newest kids' books available.
Absolutely. I have an idea for you, and I'm sure you already do it. If you don't do it, then you must do it. And I'm glad we're talking about children's books because I came across an Instagram reel of little ones, teeny tiny little ones, like little toddlers, at a library program where they are read stories aloud at the library in a group setting with their parents.
Beautiful.
And obviously you need all the patience in the world because some of them are crawling around and not minding you or whatever, and some of them are just attentively. There was this little fellow who was so attentive to what the lady was reading.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, Siwela needs to do that because I need a space to take my 9-month-old to get her into books.
Wow. We do readings, but often we don't get the toddlers because I think the parents are just worried exactly for that setup you're talking about, where will they be attentive enough? Will they not disturb the other kids? But I mean, if it's just a group of the small babies, we know that that's what we're gonna expect. So
Yes.
definitely a good idea.
Absolutely. Please, let's pilot one. Let's see how it goes.
Yes, let's pilot.
Wonderful. So what is on this week's list?
So this week's list, we have, first book is Butterfly Heart by Lala Mukoku. Butterfly Heart, follows two friends, Neo and Musa, who are best friends. They share everything. They have heart-shaped stones that remind them of their special connection. But Musa's heart begins to slow, and Neo must face the pain of watching her best friend struggle with an illness. As Musa's heart grows weaker, Neo learns about the fragility of life, the power of memories, and comfort of knowing that love never truly stops. So through sweet and simple moments of childhood joy, Butterfly Heart gently explores, scenes of friendship, loss, healing. Neo holds on to her stone, in memory of sharing laughter with a friend. She finds solace in fluttering butterflies that reminds her that Musa's spirit is always with her. So it's quite a tough topic, but I thought it's important because many families, in communities, we have different ways of grieving, but often we leave children on the sidelines, unsure of what's happening. So Butterfly Heart opens a gentle, thoughtful path for children and adults to begin talking about death, and grief together. So it's tender, it's children learning to navigate grief through the power of friendship. And I love that it's available in multiple languages: Afrikaans, Zulu, isiXhosa, Setswana, Sepedi, Sesotho, Siswati, and Xitsonga. It's a provision by Jakana. So I thought, look, I know it's a heavy topic, but it's real life. So the sooner we find gentler ways to help kids deal with it, the better.
And the thing is, funny enough, in this conversation, we don't think about it, right? We've all experienced death at different stages in sort of our journey of life. And as adults, we experience death, and there's often children in our surrounds in those moments of death. But they never are part of the conversation. No one ever sits them down to let them know what's going on. No one asks them how they're feeling. Yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The next book is also, in a similar serious topic, but Tandi's Purple Bracelet by Kgothatso Faith Kgokgome. This book we're actually reading at Book Circle Capital tomorrow. So we're going to try and reenact that scene you saw at the library on the Rio. So this book tells a story of a courageous little girl, Tandi, from Alex. She proudly wears her purple medical bracelet to let others know that she's got epilepsy. So this book is aimed at raising awareness and promoting confidence while navigating daily seizures. So it's a picture book that educates young readers about epilepsy, and then for those that didn't know, educate them and get the empathy while also driving inclusion and friendship. So it's another serious topic, but quite an important one, because often I'll have my kids also coming back and saying, "Mommy, there's this person in our class that has diabetes. What's that all about?" So I think it's just so wonderful that these days we can have books about almost anything to educate our kids. Maybe if we're struggling to have those tough conversations, then we use the book as an entry to start the convos.
Absolutely. Siwela, let's pause here for a break. We'll come back on the other side and continue.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion, because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours, and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
You
could win a car. You could win a car. Everyone could win a car.
Spar Win a Car is back. Stand a chance to win one of 50 Hyundai Extras when you buy participating products like 1.8-litre Ola Rich and Creamy Ice Cream. Buy any two for 110, save 40 Rand. Or 1-litre Danone Ultra Milk Custard. Buy any two for 50, save 20 Rand. Price is valid from 23 March till 7 April. Shop, swipe and win while stocks last. Only at Spar. T's and C's apply.
This Human Rights Month, we commemorate a significant milestone, the Bill of Rights at 30, making human dignity real. For 3 decades, South Africa's constitution has been a beacon of equality, freedom and justice for all. Yet dignity is not just written in our constitution, it must be lived, protected and upheld every single day. Join SAFM as we unpack the issues that matter, elevate voices driving change, and reflect on the progress we've made while confronting the work that still lies ahead. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
All right, we are catching up with Usuela Langeni from the book Circle Capital. And of course, we're talking children's books today because you're going into the holiday season, the Easter holiday season. So we thought we'll bolster up some of your offerings for the little ones of all ages in the home. We've gone through 2, Suela. You're about to tell us what our third book was.
The third book is Milani's Gift by Lebu Mazibuko. You would know Lebu because we spoke to her late last year. She did Fabric of Love, and a couple of years before, she did a book called Bantu Notes.
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised when I saw she started posting that she's got a kiddies book coming. So it's called Milani's Gift. Milani loves to sing, especially in the morning when the rooster crows. The birds in her father's chicken coop greet the day with their songs, but Milani is a shy girl. She only feels free to sing when no one is watching. But one day her father discovers her hidden talent and encourages her to sing at school. But when the big moment comes, Milani freezes. She's overcome by fear, embarrassment, and she runs away and vows never to sing again. But her teacher, Mrs. Gia, helps Milani to find the courage to share her beautiful voice to the world. Milani is a gift is a heartwarming story about overcoming fear, finding your voice, and discovering the joy that comes with sharing your gift with others. It's perfect for young readers who need encouragement to be brave and shine. And yeah, I just thought it's an exciting one to include, especially from an author we know so well. And now she's branched into kiddies books. So we've seen a lot of books along this theme, to just help kids to be brave, and seeing these characters on the pages and then taking a leap to say, well, if Milani can do it, I can.
Absolutely. And it would also be interesting to see, Lebu as a children's author, to experience and read her from this lens, I think would be very interesting for a lot of people who followed her career.
Yes. But I mean, so just the other day she was hosting a book club at Book Circle Capital with ladies where they were discussing the book we discussed, with the family, and it was so deep. So it's an honor, it's a great observation to say, how do we see her, because as a kiddies book writer, you gotta, when you're reading, you have to animate the story. But I know she's got stage experience, so I'm sure it will be something that comes easy for her.
Absolutely, a conversation there to be had with her. And I'll footnote it for the next time she presents another project. Just in terms of the difference in telling a story when you've got, I don't know, 3,000 words. I don't know on average how many words go into a novel. 3,000 words versus you now having to put entire themes and concepts into 2 sentences.
Yeah, you have to have so much discipline when you're writing for kids because you can't just dump words on a page. So yeah, it would be an awesome. I'd love to listen to you two talking about that.
I mean, we'll invite you into that too as a children's book author, and it'll be a learning curve for me.
Absolutely.
So these are our 3 takeaway books for this holiday season. Are you planning anything at Book Circle Capital over the Easter period?
So nothing specific, but we have our monthly book readings, and tomorrow we've got one of Tandy's Purple Bracelet. We'll probably have another one by the end of April because we try to do them monthly where we read for kids. But in as far as during the holiday program, no, we follow our usual where we'll probably have a Thursday night here and there, and then we'll have a Saturday afternoon discussion. Like I said, we're going to have Mapaseka in April.
Yeah.
So I just encourage the listeners to just check on bookcapital.co.za, our events page, to see what we've got planned.
For moms and dads that might want to pop in tomorrow for Tandy's Purple Bracelet reading, are they RSVPing? Can they just pop in?
Yes, if they can please RSVP. But tomorrow Melville is going to be like such a hive of activities. They have the Happenings happening, which is an event where they close out a couple of streets and people are acting. There's going to even be a carnival. So Melville is really the place to be tomorrow. But for those who are coming specifically for the reading, we would love that they let us know on bookcirclecapital@gmail.com. It's between 11 and 12:30, but it's important to just come on time because with these kids, we are on borrowed time, an hour and a half max. Otherwise, we lose them.
Absolutely. That's the thing, and you will lose that audience indeed.
Yes.
We will sidebar about, the reading for toddlers because I'm going to make sure it does happen in the summertime. Siwela Langeni, thank you so much for the time with you this afternoon, and of course for always bringing us great reads. She's the co-founder of Book Circle Capital, and you can find them here in Melville. bookcirclecapital@gmail.com is where you can go to RSVP if you want to do something a little bit different with your kid tomorrow and you want to come to that reading, Tandy's Purple Bracelet by Khutatso Faith Khokhome, then you are more than welcome to RSVP and book your space there. bookcirclecapital@gmail.com. And as you heard, by greater extension, the area of Melville is coming to life tomorrow with a carnival and some street artists presenting some works. So it's going to be a hive of festivity. It might just be worth your while to make an afternoon and a day of it with your kids. Do something different. Don't go to the mall. Do something that's a little bit more enriching. Yes, it's enriching, Galog. We're going to take a quick pause and then we're going to come back on the other side with the headline news at 2:30. That will take us into our kids' programming for the week.
On the news headlines, power utility Eskom has extended rooftop solar registration fee waiver by 6 months. The utility says the move is aimed at ensuring grid stability and safety as more South Africans turn to the sun for power. The Eastern Cape Elective Conference has been suspended pending the finalization of disputes linked to the conference. And the Hawks says it has been granted a preservation order worth 100,000 rand by the High Court in Johannesburg relating to the Tembisa Hospital fraud case. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends and welcome to Nali Bali. Have you ever heard an idea that sounded strange or different and thought, that won't work, before giving it a chance? Sometimes we judge too quickly without truly listening or understanding, but great ideas often start in unexpected ways. Before saying no to something, it's important to listen, ask questions, and try to understand. You might be surprised at how amazing someone's idea can be when given a chance. Today's story is called The Mayor of Fudai, written by Fuzile Mvubu. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and The mayor of Fudai Kotoko Wamura stood at the edge of the beach, staring out at the peaceful ocean surrounded by green hills. He was remembering the great tragedy that struck Japan in 1933, when a giant wave swept over the land, destroying homes and taking lives. The town of Fudai had suffered greatly, and the memories of that day had never left him.
Mayor Wamura!
A voice called from behind. It was Yoshi, one of the village elders, hobbling over his cane.
Good morning, Yoshi.
Wamura greeted, a smile flashing briefly on his face.
You've got that serious look again.
Yoshi said.
What's troubling you?
Wamura sighed.
It's the ocean. It may be peaceful now, but it won't stay that way forever. Another tsunami will come, and we need to be ready.
Yoshi raised his eyebrows, surprised by the mayor's gloomy mood.
Don't worry, Mr. Wamura. All the villages are already building seawalls. Does that not bring you peace?
Wamura shook his head.
Those seawalls are just not high enough, Yoshi.
Yoshi was puzzled and frowned.
Not high enough? They are 5 meters high. Surely that must be high enough to stop the waves.
Wamura turned to him, his voice serious.
I've read stories of the sea coming much further inland at Fudai in the past. I fear that waves far larger than what we remember will come again.
Later that day, Wamura called a meeting in the village square. The people of Fudai gathered, curious about what their mayor had to say.
My friends,
Wamura began.
I've studied the past. We need to build our seawall at least 15 meters high in order to be safe.
The villagers murmured at each other and exchanged worried glances. Akira, one of the local fishermen, raised his hand.
Mayor, the other villages are only building 5-meter walls. A 15-meter wall would cost way too much.
Exactly. Why build such a high wall? It's a waste of money.
Another man shouted. Wamura listened patiently before speaking.
We have to build a higher wall. The recent smaller tsunamis can be stopped by lower walls, but in the past, we have had much bigger ones. In 1933, the waves were bigger than anyone expected. The elders tell stories of waves that could sweep away entire villages. If we build a 5-meter wall, we're gambling with our future.
The crowd fell silent, but they were still not convinced. Building a wall that was 3 times higher than those of their villages seemed unnecessary.
I know it's a difficult decision, but we must think of what's best for Fudai.
Wamura said. So the villagers of Fudai started to build a wall that would stand between the village and the sea. Wamura was there every day, encouraging them and keeping them focused on the bigger picture. He knew that one day their efforts would pay off. The wall grew higher and higher until, after years of hard work, it was finally complete. It was an incredible sight, a wall that towered over the village and the nearby coastline. Decades passed peacefully. There were a few tsunamis that lower walls in the other villages were able to hold back. Many people from Fudai and the surrounding villages questioned Wamura's wisdom, and some even insulted him and called him crazy for wasting money. But Wamura stood firm and told his embarrassed family not to worry about what people said. Eventually, Wamura died in 1997 when he was 88 years old. Then one day in 2011, a massive earthquake shook the ground in the middle of the afternoon. 30 minutes later, monstrous waves struck the coast of Japan, sending water up to 10 kilometers inland. Sadly, the 5-meter-high walls could not save the villages. The water spilled over the walls, flooding the streets and washing away people and their homes, but not in Fudai. The waves crashed against Fudai's 15-meter sea walls but could not climb over it. The walls stood strong, protecting the village and its people from the destruction that affected so many people. After the tsunami passed, the villagers stood at the base of the wall, gazing up at the huge structure that had saved their lives. Akira shook his head in disbelief.
The mayor was right all along. I was a young man when he first spoke about building the 15-meter wall. If we had built the same wall as the other villages, we wouldn't be here now.
Hiroshi Fukawatari was the mayor of Fudai in 2011, and he said,
I was one of the people who criticized Mayor Wamura's decision to build the high walls. Now time has proved him right. However you look at it, the floodgate and seawall are truly impressive.
To this day, Kotoku Wamura is praised all over Japan for his wisdom and courage. On his retirement, Wamura stood before the village employees and said,
Even if you encounter opposition, have conviction and finish what you start. In the end, people will understand.
And he was right. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called The Mayor of Fudai, written by Fuzile Mvubu. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages, as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives.
Investing shouldn't feel risky. It should give you security and good returns. Earn up to 7.25% interest per annum with an ABSA Cash Invest Tracker for an investment of 100,000 rands or more. Your capital is guaranteed with immediate access to your funds. That's minimum risk, maximum benefit. ABSA Private Banking customers can invest from just R1. Open via the ABSA Banking app, a branch, a private banker, or 0860 111 515. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
As you sit in traffic reflecting on a good day, projects on track, clients happy, and they're a big one too. They trust you with all their sensitive data that's kept in your outdated work laptop, in your car, as you sit in traffic. Don't let bad tech choices get in the way. Switch to tailored secure cloud solutions, because nothing should stop your business. Call 084 1234. Cell C.
For news on South African industry and mining, Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly has you covered. Click through to Creamer Media's Engineering News each day for the latest on the people and companies shaping the energy transition and South African industry. Keep your finger on the critical minerals pulse by visiting Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. For deeper insight, subscribe to the Engineering News and Mining Weekly magazine, out on Fridays. Creamer Media, current, credible, comprehensive.
Wherever you are in the world, SAFM 104 to 107 is accessible. We're also streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. We acknowledge and appreciate everyone tuning in and watching our streams. Stay with SAFM 104 to 107 as we bring you commission live, breaking stories, and thought-provoking lectures. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi. Because where words fail, music speaks.
Hi, I'm Zycard. Catch me every Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Spotlight as we bring you blow-by-blow sporting action, news. That's Spotlight every Saturday. You don't want to miss it.
This Consumer Rights Month, ICASA has you covered. We regulate telecoms, broadcasting and postal services. Billing issues, poor network, lost parcels will contact your provider. If unresolved after 14 working days, email consumer@icasa.org.za. ICASA, regulating in the public interest.
Hi, my name is Kutlwana Masote, your host of Weekend Sundowner Classics every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. exclusively on SAFM. Now, this is where you get your best classical music jams on any radio platform. Join me every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between 4 and 7 p.m. Weekend Sundowner Classics.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, in our next few moments, before we wrap up the show, we're catching up with the 2025 Viv Clicquot Bold Woman Awards winners, and they have been announced as Dr. Pindile Msomi, founder and CEO of Hazile Group, and Ritang Patle, who is the CEO and co-founder of Sitong Tea Crafters. Ritang, who we met about a year or so ago, talking about this incredible bespoke tea crafters that she's founded. But maybe let's start with you, Dr. Pindile Qebekulu. How are you doing?
I'm good, and how about you? Thank you so much for having us on your show. I'll take the time to say hello, Ratang.
Hi, Dr. Pindi. Nice to be with you.
Thank you so much, ladies. And of course, hello, Ritang. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start by getting some background. Let's start with, your older sister first, Ritang. Let's start with Dr. Pindile Qebekulu Msomi. Let's get some background around Hazile Group. When was the entity founded? And of course, the nature of the business.
Okay. 2018. It was founded in 2018. So we are a climate smart agriculture and green infrastructure company. In layman terms, we are all about making sustainable farming practical and accessible. So we look at how we can grow food sustainably, working with women and youth. So we integrate hydroponics as well as water efficient systems to grow healthy food. And then we're now taking that to communities through our training of community eco-friendly systems for cooperatives.
A wonderful space to be in, I think, and given the conversation around climate change, food insecurity and sustainability in the country, but also how do we begin to develop young agricultural entrepreneurs?
That's exactly one of the things why I am focused in green infrastructure, especially in communities. Bridget, we are seeing young people think farming, they think, oh Lord, I don't want to hold a pick, a shovel, and all those hard type of tools. Now, hydroponics makes it fancier, but it is quite capital intense. So what we are bringing, I've just trademarked a system called the Eco Farm Board. We are using plastic water bottles, recyclable PVC pipes to bring this to those communities who are trying to grow food sustainably with the challenges that we have of water. How are we using simple DIY drip water irrigation so that we have water for these farmers? I mean, I work with people from Kwakwa to people from Orange Farm. So yeah, and there's youth who are interested in saying, I don't have to have a pick and shovel. I can work in tunnels like I have behind me and use a similar system that helps save water.
Absolutely. I want us to just pause here for a second and then we'll come back and continue the conversation just for a quick break.
When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Earn up to 7.35% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account. Access your money within 24 hours. Keep your money agile. Get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Meet Tato Makate, CMO of Koitek, proving that South African tech can take on the world. Tato, why was telecom business the right call for your team?
Bottom line was connectivity and ensuring that we have the right service provider.
With Telecom Business Fiber, Koitek seamlessly connects local innovations with international manufacturing.
Get Stream Connect Fiber from just 399 Rand per month. Call 10213 or click telcom.co.za. T's and C's apply. Telcom Business. Possible begins here.
You're listening to Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, we're talking to, before we get to that, by the way, this Consumer Rights Month, ICASA has got you covered. We regulate telecoms, broadcasting and postal services and billing issues. Poor network and lost parcels? Well, contact your provider. And if your issue goes unresolved for 14 working days, you can email consumer@icasa.org.za. ICASA, regulating in the public interest.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
As I was saying, we are catching up with the 2025 Viv Clicquot Bold Woman Award winners, and that is Dr. Pindile Kulu Msomi and Ritang Pasha, who's the CEO and co-founder of Sitong Tea Crafters. How are you doing, Ritang?
I'm well, thank you, Bridget. Thanks so much for having me again.
It's only a pleasure. So for those who missed our conversation the first time for Made in SA, an interesting story about how you came to be a tea crafter.
Yes. So we work with indigenous herbs that naturally grow in the Limpopo region, herbs that our elders have been drinking for generations, and it's indigenous knowledge that's been passed down, but was never commercialized. So we took the brave journey of trying to commercialize those indigenous plants into a range of herbal teas that are effective and useful to the health-conscious modern consumer.
Getting into this space, I mean, the health space is an interesting one, right? Because we've seen sort of a boom in interest. But I can imagine that it's a highly contested space as well, because there are big players there. What sets you apart and enables you to be able to actually canvass a market and isolate a corner for yourself?
You're absolutely right, Bridget. And, right now, we're in a time where, more consumers are looking for health solutions, and they're looking for something new. So it's been a great journey for us, because what has set us apart is our unique story and the unique indigenous ingredients that we use that most brands are not using. So, a lot of brands are usually looking at using ingredients that are, trendy, that everyone's kind of looking for at the time, and that's making waves on social media. But we're really focusing on those ingredients that haven't been commercialized, and we focus on telling those untold stories. Our main purpose is to, preserve indigenous knowledge systems so that they don't get lost, and so that they're available for the next generation. So our unique positioning is based on the indigenous knowledge systems that haven't been commercialized. And we work with amazing ingredients, and we work with rural women in communities who, in most cases don't even have a matric certificate, and who haven't been participating in the mainstream economy, but now they are businesswomen in their own right, through the platform that we've created, and they're so knowledgeable about indigenous knowledge systems. So our brand has been able to give them a platform while, giving access to the mainstream consumers to indigenous plants that they otherwise would never have known of.
And since we've spoken, and since being named the 2025 Viv Clicquot Bold Woman Award winners, you've gone on, Ritang, to secure major retail expansion for Sitong. In fact, you now are in almost all the big retailers: Discam, Cosmetic Connections, Checkers, Tourvest, Club Med. So you are chipping away at your own space on those shelves.
Yes, indeed. It hasn't been an overnight journey. Before the award, we've been working for many years on securing those markets. But the award really gave us that credibility, especially around our story and our impact, and it really assisted us to really cement ourselves as a major brand in the industry. So it's really been a great journey, and our main hope for securing all of these markets is that we'll be able to grow the rural economy, create more jobs, and create a platform for even more indigenous ingredients that haven't been in the market. So, we're going to leverage on these opportunities that we've secured and make space for more indigenous plants and more communities to also participate in the value chain. But we're really grateful for the spotlight that this award has created on our brand.
Absolutely. Dr. Pindile, I mean, let's touch a little bit as well on the fact that we're seeing a huge penetration of female entrepreneurs into different market spaces now. In fact, about 49% of all new businesses are female-led. Talk to me about sort of that journey for a female entrepreneur. It's a different one to a male entrepreneur, because also just the person of being a female, of being gendered female, comes with its own challenges, its own responsibilities, its own burdens that hinder a lot who want to get into that value chain of market.
Absolutely, it does. And because my journey, just like Redan was indicating, mine hasn't been easy. And as you're saying, female entrepreneurs, we have had to build in spaces where access is hard, access to capital, access to opportunities as a female is more harder for whatever reason. So the statistic is quite encouraging. We're getting there. It shows that women are no longer waiting for permission. We are stepping into businesses and taking up space. And that's exactly about what it was for me. It was about balancing these roles, family, community, motherly roles. And I think it's the same for women across different industries and what the society expects you to do. For instance, in sectors like agriculture, there's complexity. You're dealing with land access. You're dealing with systems that were not originally designed for women in mind. You're dealing with a government that has support systems that are not ready for climate smart agriculture. So there's quite a number of things that you have to work around to innovate, to be able to be bold enough to go not even across over a table, under a table, to make a solution somewhere, somehow. So, but what's powerful for me is that because women are redefining what entrepreneurship looks like, it looks the same, because what I've seen with the youth and women that Hazile works with, it's people who are saying, actually, I want to start running my small business because, one, there is no employment, nobody's coming to save me. So it's not about just farming, it's about creating jobs for Hazile and getting people out of the mindset of waiting for somebody to save you, to say there's an opportunity for me to learn because there's a community development program that has running. How do I then go outside the box to be able to learn from these people so I can be able to create something for myself and my family?
Absolutely. We fast run out of time. I mean, we know where we can get Sitong tea from now. For anybody that wants to maybe tap into some of your resource and your development skill there, Dr. Pindile, how do they get a hold of yourself and your team?
Okay, we're on LinkedIn as Hazile Group. We are also on IG, Instagram as Hazile Group, Facebook, same Hazile_agri. And we have a website called www.hazilegroup.co.za. And what is exciting is that because people are like, you're business to business, where do we get your crops? So for our processed dried herbs, pesticide free, we're going to Macro and Shopify as from the beginning of April. So they can be able to get us there.
Congratulations. Wonderful stuff. Ladies doing amazing things, weirdly enough, at different corners in different spaces, but both answering to that call to get more and more female entrepreneurs involved in agriculture and agri-processing. That's all the time we have for today. That was Ritang Pahle, a CEO and co-founder of Sitong Tea Crafters, and Dr. Pindile Tebekulu Msomi. From myself and my team, have a wonderful, restful weekend, and inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
This is SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM.
Music never sleeps, and neither do we.
And has previously been partly honoured, including when the DA was in power. Morero says the council and the mayoral committee lawfully approved the agreement after a mediation process. He says the DA is wasting the court's time and that the city is committed to resolving the long-standing issue once and for all.
We are addressing it. We took resolutions. Council approved that we should be paying this and all workers should be at level 10. So council made an approval. Council also approved and the mayoral committee approved that we should go through a process of mediation, which we went through, and these are the results of the mediation process. So there's no any other thing that has to be discussed, and the DA is just wasting the court's time by taking matters of this nature to the court.
Foreign ministers from the G7 major economies are meeting outside Paris, where the US-Israel war with Iran will be the main focus of their talks. The British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper said Iran must stop preventing ships from passing through the Strait of Hormuz.
130 countries have come together at the United Nations to condemn Iran's egregious aggression towards the Gulf states and also its attacks on international shipping. And that is so important because Iran cannot hold the global economy hostage.
Recapping the top story, power utility Eskom has extended rooftop solar registration fee waiver by 6 months. I'm on Dilambana for SFM News Headlines at 3:30.
In sports this hour, Williams urges Bafana Bafana return to values against Panama. Steenkamp set 400th cap as Bulls reshuffle for Munster Showdown, and PS3 tops Guza practice as Steenkamp marks 100th. More details at 3:30.
As we celebrate 90 years of existence, SAFM takes you back to the voices that shaped a nation.
Olani Gwala will be back again for you.